round 3 here on Beyond the Cage, presented by Intimidation Clothing. Inside of round number 3, brought to you by our good friends at MMAforlife.ca. We are talking with Ryan Healy from DeathThrob MMA and Media. He is the lead singer of the band DeathThrob. And Ryan, thanks for coming here on the podcast.
Oh, glad to be on it, guys,
And Ryan, reason we're talking to you today, you guys have a very interesting way that you deal with MMA, and you do some very cool stuff. You've been featured in Fight Magazine a couple of times, and rather than me explain it and maybe confuse some of our listeners, if you kind of explain what you guys do within the world of MMA and kind of in the world of music.
Yeah, basically what we did was we created a whole record of just songs written around to train to, all about, training mixed martial arts more than anything. And kind of the whole idea is just trying to get our name as big as we can, where we can kind of start to help upcoming fighters, like less-known fighters, us doing media for them and kind of getting a name in the MMA world a little bit has given us a chance to kind of, use our media to help hype some fighters and kind of help get their names out. That's kind of the gist of what we're doing, And all the music's it's just like heavy, Like we kind of want it to be known that when you start to hear more heavy music in the game, we want people to associate that with DeathThrob.
And speaking of some of your guys' music, you have it on your website, deaththrobmusic.com. People can listen to it all there via SoundCloud, as well as download some of the tracks. And I listen to some of the tracks. I got to say, it's pretty good stuff there. And if I ever get my butt in gear in training, definitely something that I would want training there. And I know on the Facebook page that mentions you're the lead singer, and some of the tracks are instrumental. When you're not singing on the track, are you playing any instruments for them?
Yeah, well, I also play bass, but there's a guy in our band that's playing bass like full time now. You know what I mean? But when we first started, it was really just me and my brother, the drummer, and we were going to different studios and stuff. And that's when we were like, you know what? We really need to start putting some words to the music. You know what I mean? So now, like most of the songs, there's vocals on all the songs, but some of them we strip the vocals out and put out just instrumental versions, just because for the media it's kind of good to have the fighters talking over it and stuff. But all the songs do have vocals on it, but we just release some of the material without them, just so whatever people want to use it for, just like it makes it easier for people just to talk over it,
Hey Ryan, what was bigger? The love of music? I mean, did you start with the love of music and then you kind of grew into mixed martial arts, or, were you in martial arts as a kid and then you kind of picked music up and put them together? How did that work?
I'll tell you, basically, it's always been music first. We grew up playing in bands forever. And then, as a struggling artist, you're always looking for people to help you and opportunity to get out there and exposure and, just trusting people. And that's when, we started going to these smaller cage fights, and we were like, wow, there's a lot of unknown fighters right now that are looking for exposure and looking for ways to get out there. And that's what kind of gave us also the idea of DeathThrob, is taking the music, but collaborating with mixed martial arts. So the whole idea is we want to keep writing music and we want to keep writing heavy stuff, but at the end of the day, instead of looking at us, look at the fighters, and that's what it's really all about. We want to kind of supply a tool for fighters to get out there, and that's what DeathThrob's all about, is just creating a heavy sound to inspire people to train and giving a way for some unknown people to get their name in there a little bit,
Now, looking at your website, as I said, deaththrobmusic.com, you have a couple of the guys that you are helping out in terms of fighters. You got two of the guys in the UFC, both training out of the Alliance gym there in San Diego, California, and Miles Jury and Jeremy Stevens. I guess first, just because I saw the video, and Jeremy Stevens definitely gave you guys a great shout-out in his training camp leading up to his fight at UFC 160. How did you guys get involved with Jeremy Stevens?
Basically, he's got a great manager, Ryan Haas, out in Cali, and he's a great guy, and we reached out to him, And, we always just saw, Jeremy Stevens is one of my favorite fighters, before even doing anything with him. And I just thought that he'd be a perfect guy to kind of represent DeathThrob at the early stage, with him being just an aggressive fighter. I could see metal music going a lot with his personality. So, I reached out to Ryan. They loved the idea. It's a little something different right now. There's a lot of clothing sponsors, supplement sponsors reaching out to these guys on a daily basis, but nothing really in the music industry. So, coming from that background, they were really into the idea, and they gave us a shot, and Jeremy's very close with Miles Jury, so it all kind of just fell right into play, you know what I mean? And Ryan Haas has been more than helpful. He kind of helped me with Fight Magazine a little bit, and it's just they're really great guys out there, and to have them in our corners, definitely a good step forward,
Is it safe to say, Ryan, that when Jeremy Stevens and Miles Jury walk out, they're walking out to DeathThrob?
Yeah, that's soon's gonna be happening. There's a little bit of the UFC saying that our brand can be televised and everything. So right now we've been really using the internet because there's nothing stopping that right now from happening. But me and Ryan Haas, his manager, are right now we're talking about getting our tiger on his shorts and stuff for the next upcoming fights and stuff. That's the next step for sure. But just it was kind of last minute getting we did the V-blog for 160. And it was just kind of last minute, and seeing that it's cool and that it's working, the next step going forward is that you will be seeing the tiger on, in the fights.
Cool. Like you were saying earlier when you were talking, when Jim was asking some questions, you said, you're trying to help some of the up-and-coming fighters that, don't have names and whatnot. Do you guys go out and go to fights? Do you guys go on YouTube, kind of look at highlights? Are you waiting for somebody, I'm here in Illinois. Are you waiting for somebody here in Illinois to give you guys a call? How do you guys go about trying to find somebody?
The best thing in the world is for these guys to reach out and want to be a part of what we're doing. That's the easiest way, to have somebody interested, just shoot you an email. That's awesome. But what we do is we go to a lot of the local promotions. This weekend will be. We also, we're working with some jiu-jitsu guys as well. So this weekend, one of our really close friends, Kevin Reed, will be fighting at the PGL in Berlin, New Jersey, and he'll be walking out to the music. He'll be repping all of our stuff. So that's one thing. I train jiu-jitsu as well. So I'm always meeting people and that as well. So it's always good to have that, to know the person personally, because then it's they trust you. You're not just some guy, But
right.
We also, what we do is we go to, last month we were at the Borgata. We did the CFFC fight, and we'll do a highlight for them. We'll get our music to it for them. And then it just gives us a chance to come around and meet the fighters and, do a little bit of media for them. And, right now we're just trying to get people to trust us. We're huge fans of mixed martial arts. This isn't really, we're not making big bucks right now. It's just really, we want to create an outlet for people, for upcoming fighters to get a chance to be seen. There's just so many right now that nobody knows about, and to me, it stinks to be fighting and having nobody know about you. So coming from our background of just struggling trying to get our music played, we understand that. You know what I mean? That's it's kind of the same thing as being an unknown band and being an unknown fighter. You just want exposure, and the main thing right now is we want to create exposure, and that's the key. So going to the fights, meeting people that way, doing highlights, going to gyms, whatever it is to get in the door. That's what we're doing right now. And then every now and then we'll get some emails coming in that fighters want us to help them out. So it's kind of just been in front of us and getting out there.
I got two rebuttals off of what you just said. One, since you train jiu-jitsu, you're the most trained person that's on this podcast right now. So that's
very cool, very cool.
And second, when you were talking, I didn't even realize that, you can do great things for the unknown fighters, but with doing highlight packages and whatnot, you could actually help promotions, which will probably have a much bigger reach at the beginning than an unknown fighter.
Yeah, that's what we did. The way that got us in the door last month was we did a little bit of work for Cage Fighting Fury at the Borgata. And, we'll do a highlight for them, you know what I mean, and put the music to it. And, it's just, that's the thing, you know what I mean? Obviously, working with the promotions, they have all the fighters and a lot of the, and there are a lot of smaller pro fighters, like, in these leagues. So they're ones that are really open to working with us. So to get tight with the promotions, that's the key, you know what I mean? Like, you want to be around the guys that have all the fighters, that's for sure.
One thing I definitely wanted to ask you, Ryan, as we're talking with Ryan Healy of DeathThrob here on Beyond the Cage, is, to my knowledge, and I've been in the MMA game since 2007, I haven't seen a group or band, however, or a media group, however you want to represent or classify yourselves, because I think you guys are transcending different boxes here, definitely outside the box with your ideas, but have you heard of anyone else trying to do what you guys are doing? As far as I can tell, you're the only guys doing something like this. Yeah,
to be honest, I haven't heard of anybody else doing it, and that's the thing that's cool. Is there's not like, it's like we're playing heavy metal music. You know what I mean? There's a lot of heavy metal bands. Like we played the All Stars tour in Long Island a couple months ago, and it was just to see the biggest metal bands out right now. And it's like, and to all respect, you know what I mean? It all starts to kind of sound the same, look the same. So we want to stand for something completely different. You know what I mean? And it's like, another thing is it's important to be training while we write these songs, because for it to be pure and for it to be real, I think you got to be in the mix of the fighters. Like, we're never going to be pro fighters. That's not what we're trying to do, but we do want to know how it feels, because when we're writing these songs, we want to make sure we're doing it right and we're not just faking it. You know what I mean? It's important for us to just surround ourselves in the fight game as much as possible right now, and I think that's what's going to make the songs come out pure,
Miles Jury is one of the guys that you do some stuff with, and he just fought recently here on the undercard of UFC 165 against Mike Ricci. Want to know if you had a chance to see his fight and what you thought of his performance and his eventual victory a couple weeks ago.
We all the DeathThrob dudes, we all went out to Buffalo Wild Wings that day to see the fight, and to be completely honest, I just thought it was an awesome matchup. I thought Mike Ricci definitely brought it. It evened out, you know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people were probably disappointed, thought it was a boring fight, but in my opinion, Miles won. He got a few takedowns. It was really even. If you look at how many times they landed punches and stuff, it was really close. It really could have gone either way. It was a little bit of a slower fight, but I thought Miles looked good, man. You know what I mean? Not every single fight can be super exciting, especially when it's such an even matchup. So I was just impressed with the matchup more than anything, and I thought Miles pulled it off. And I'm looking forward to his next fight. You know what I mean? He's undefeated right now, and I'm excited that he's repping DeathThrob. That's for sure.
Now, with you guys on the music side of things, I got to ask this question: what are some of your influences in music, and what groups did you listen to growing up that made you want to be a musician? Basically, it's kind of funny, but the first tape I ever bought as a kid was the Limp Bizkit Significant Other. And when I heard that, I was just like, oh man, this is the heaviest stuff ever. And then growing up, going into middle school, getting into bands like Slipknot, and then going to local hardcore shows and seeing really old school hardcore bands like Kill Your Idols, and just always being a part of the underground hardcore scene. And then just, you start to get older, and then you fall out of it a little bit. And, it's like I always knew I wanted to play heavy music just because, playing in other bands, I've played in rock bands, I've played in, pop bands, but it's not the same feeling, man. When you're up there on stage and you get to just let loose like that, and there's just so much adrenaline, it's a crazy experience, and you don't always get that playing, lighter music, And, the metal's where it's at, I remember buying that Limp Bizkit CD, Significant Other. I think I still got it somewhere around here. I think it was 6th grade when I bought that, and I couldn't get the parental advisory. I had to get the edited version. So,
that's all right, close enough.
So half the words were blanked out of that CD. But I remember buying that CD. That was a great album for Limp Bizkit.
It was a great album.
I think I had it on tape in my Ford Escort because I was probably 16 at the time.
Yeah. It was a good one, man. You got to hold on to that forever.
Yeah. One final question for you, Ryan, before we get you out of here. What is the 5-year or the 10-year plan for DeathThrob? Where do you want to be in the next 10 years?
The ultimate goal right now is to create a music/brand that can help the fighters, man. That's the main thing, you know. Like, we want to be a way for the fighters to get out there. You know, like, yeah, I do want people to be like, oh, I love your music, I love this, but the goal is for people to be like, you can help me. And that's what we're trying to do right now, is we want to help the guys get out there. So, you know, the 5-year plan is to, you know, you'll see DeathThrob more around the UFC and the other promotions, but more importantly, being able to give these guys a chance to get out there. You know, I wouldn't call it like a record label, but we want to be something that can help get these fighters' names, you know, around the world. And having social media and having all these outlets for people to find out about these guys. You know, we want to start getting a lot of traffic. We want to help get these guys to the next level, you know, and that's the main goal, you know what I mean? Like, we can be talking about how awesome the metal songs are all day and stuff, but, you know, if we're not helping these guys out, then, like, in my opinion, we're not doing our job. And that's it, man, you know. That's what we're going for.
Well, for what it means from my end here, from my chair, it seems like you guys are going in the right direction.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Every day having more fighters contact us and getting into these fights and staying busy and being at all the local events and all that, it definitely gives us a sign that there's a need, and that's that stage in the game that's important.
He is Ryan Healy of DeathThrob, on Twitter at Team DeathThrob, online DeathThrobMusic.com. They're on Facebook, DeathThrob, and they also got their YouTube channel where you can check out some of those highlight videos that he was talking about earlier. Ryan, thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate you know, you guys letting us come on and talk some DeathThrob up.
Once again, he is Ryan Healy of DeathThrob right here on Beyond the Cage, presented by Intimidation Clothing.